The following is a production of Stevenson Media.
This is the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of Houston Sports Nation, Nick Stevenson.
My goodness, thank you so much. Please be seated. My fellow Houstonians, welcome to this Houston Sports State of the Union podcast. As always, there are a million different things you could be doing today, but if you choose to spend a little bit of time with me, I really do appreciate it. Guys, Houston is a sports city divided. Right now, we all have hope for the young Houston Rockets to have a successful season, perhaps win a playoff series for the first time since 2020. We're very hopeful when it comes to the Houston Rockets. However, on the other side of this, I think it might be time that we say RIP to the Houston Texans and their 2025 season. Now, while I say that, let me be completely honest. I would like to reference you back to 2005 when the Houston Chronicle buried the Houston Astros after a 15-31 start. And from that moment forward, all they did is have one of the most historic comebacks in MLB history and make it all the way to the World Series. Can somehow the city of Houston conjure that same energy, that same juju, and motivate our Houston Texans to salvage their season? I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not 100% optimistic. However, as long as there are a Houston Texans in the NFL that has Houston in front of the name, you guys know me. I'm a rep H-Town till I drown. So by no means do I think there is no reason to continue to support the Houston Texans, but it's been difficult and we're going to talk about that. Before we get going, once again, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you're joining live, I appreciate it. If you're watching this after the fact, thank you so much. I want to remind you of the ways you can continue to support this show. One of them you're doing right now. You watch, you listen. Hopefully you're clicking share with your Houston, with other Houston Texans fans, other Houston Astros fans, other Houston Rockets fans. If you're a fan of Houston sports, then I want this to be your go-to space to come and either vent when things are going wrong, like we see with the Texans, or celebrate when there's optimism, like we see with the Houston Rockets. So yeah, that's the number one way you can support me. I will have a link tree in this description so that you can follow me wherever you get your podcast fix. There also audio version will be available within 30 minutes to an hour after the live is over. Everyone who is supporting me that way, I really appreciate it. I'll also have some affiliate links for some Houston sports fan gear and all of the gear I use to bring you this podcast. Those are Amazon links if you decide you want to either buy Houston sports fan gear or you're looking to get into the podcast content creation space and you're wondering what equipment I use. I'll have some links in there. And if you decide to use my links, I'll get a little bit of change from that. And it'll be much, much appreciated. But yeah, those are the main ways that you can support this show. If anybody's interested in sponsorship, I will definitely listen to that as well. Once again, if you go to my link tree, it'll have all the ways that you can contact me. But right now, man, we're just trying to grind and get this content out here. And it's still a good time to do so in the city of Houston. And the reason being, let's start with the state of the Houston Rockets. All right, so the Houston Rockets lost their first game of the season against the defending champion, Oklahoma City Thunder, in Oklahoma. And while that was very disappointing, they lost in double overtime, 125 to 124. And while that was extremely disappointing, I think most Rockets fans, we saw some reasons to be optimistic and we saw some reasons to be concerned. The optimism is Kevin Durant is still a bucket. Alperen Sengun looks like he's going to have an all-NBA season if he can continue what he did against the defending champs. And Amen Thompson, when he's not cramping up, is a pretty damn good player himself. One of the things that brings me pause, and I think Houston Rockets fans are concerned about, is the point guard position. We knew it was going to be a struggle with Fred VanVleet out for the season, but I don't think we knew it was going to be as much of a struggle as it was to get into their offensive sets. There were at times it looked very, very rough. Sometimes they weren't getting into their play until about 9 seconds left in the shot clock. You had Alperen Sengun posting people up at midcourt. It just looked very, very difficult. And when Reed Shepherd was in the game, he didn't handle the pressure very well that the Oklahoma City Thunder brought onto him. Now he's still young and he's got time to improve. An article came out today that I saw on a social media post that Reed Sheppard was working with Kevin Durant on finding more effective ways to get him the ball. And he was admitting that, he had difficulty doing that. And we all saw it. I think the calls to trade Reed Sheppard are a little bit early. A lot of Rockets fans are stating the obvious that we need a point guard. Trust me, guys, the Rockets know they need a point guard. They don't not have a point guard on purpose. Their point guard tore his ACL a month ago. So the Rockets understand that there's going to be a challenge on bringing the ball up the court, dealing with pressure. And right now they're kind of figuring out as they go who's going to be that primary ball handler. Amen Thompson is pretty good. He's been a point guard most of his life. I know that a lot of people keep saying that he's new to point guard, and those people just don't pay attention to Amen Thompson or the Houston Rockets. He played point guard a lot last season. He needs to get better with his assist to turnover ratio. And, when he's not on the floor, though, the Texans really don't have a great primary ball handler. Reed Sheppard, his answer to pressure was usually just to either get rid of it as soon as possible or shoot the ball. And that didn't go very well for him. He didn't have a great shooting night. Once again, it's the defending champs. It's opening night. The Houston Rockets are still trying to figure out how to play with one another. And I think we saw positives and negatives. Overall, I saw nothing that leads me to believe that this is not going to be a playoff team. I don't think the team we see today is going to be the same team we see in February, March, April, and on. Does that mean that somebody, there's a big trade, small moves made? I'm really not sure. But at the end of the day, I think I was very encouraged by the first game. I think most people were. The Rockets will be playing the Detroit Pistons, who are another good team, for their home opener tonight. My man Corey is going to be at the game tonight. Corey will also be joining me for the Houston Texans versus the 49ers watch party. I hope I will get to that in a little bit. I hope you guys will join me for that. But yeah, he's got eyes on the team. And, obviously the Thompson twins is going to be the main attraction there. But Cade Cunningham, very good player. Jalen Duren has been a very good player. Two really good young up-and-coming teams. I think the Rockets should be better than them this season and should win this game. But I think it's going to be exciting, and I'm looking forward to watching that tonight. One of the reasons that I'm doing this show early is because I won't be able to watch the game tonight, and I'm going to record it, and I won't be able to do the show tonight because my daughter is doing a theater performance tonight. So we are super excited about all of those things, and I'm looking forward to watching the recording of the Rockets game, and hopefully they get a dub. You guys don't tell me what happened, though, because I like to watch it. I like to watch the recordings, skip the commercials, and then I like to still get that excited feeling of not knowing what's going to happen. So you guys don't say anything on social media, and I will try to ignore my phone as much as possible. I watched a lot of national media and national podcasts, Gil's Arena, First Take on ESPN, talk about this Rockets team. And I think they're really underestimating the coaching of Ime Udoka. Once again, they keep talking about the point guard position as if the Rockets don't want to have a point guard. Obviously, the Rockets would love to have Fred VanVleet. They would love for Reed Sheppard to develop to a point where you could trust him to play, 15 minutes or so behind a Fred VanVleet. We did not see Aaron Holiday in the game. I'm optimistic that Reed Sheppard is going to play better as the season goes. If you guys watch him in all three of his regular season starts and his one preseason start this year, he has the ability to shoot efficiently, to find teammates and get them into their offense. I think he just needs to develop more and not panic whenever he's pressured, because I think most NBA teams who watched the very first game of the season, they figured out if you pressure this team, it's going to be difficult for them to get into their sets. And a lot of times they were, like I said, with 9 seconds left on the shot clock, trying to do whatever they could at the last minute to get a shot off, and it didn't always look pretty. I will say the times that they were able to get into their offense with that double big lineup, and I love Steven Adams, but there are times that it feels like he's just in the way. I think there were spacing problems a lot, in that first game. And once again, that is to be expected. This is the brand new season, a new team. They're still getting used to playing with one another. I expect those things to improve. But as I said, I didn't see anything that led me to believe. I know there's one ESPN article that predicted the Rockets would be the 8th seed in the West. If the Rockets are the 8th seed in the West, it's not because they didn't win a lot of games. The West is just so loaded. I watched, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Obviously, everybody's going to give them their best shot. They won again against the Indianapolis Pacers, who honestly, the Pacers without, now I'm forgetting his name. Why do I do this? Without Halliburton, they actually look pretty good and motivated. And that dude Mathurin, he's a beast. The West, I watched Denver versus the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors played a good game against the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers have Luka Doncic. They have DeAndre Ayton. Eventually, they'll get LeBron back. They might be in the lower half of the league. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this NBA season goes. But right now, the Houston Rockets seem to be the only hope for Houston. We've talked about it. The Astros missed the playoffs. The Texans are in the situation that they're in. Right now, Houston is giving the city hope that maybe, just maybe, we can start planning a parade sometime in the future. I'd say in the next 2-3 years is going to be the Rockets championship window. I said this a long time ago. I think I said it before Victor Wembanyama was even drafted. The Rockets are on the clock because when Victor Wembanyama, he might be the best player in the NBA right now. I don't know if you guys watched his game versus the Dallas Mavericks. And I hate to give a San Antonio Spur any type of props because you guys know I hate the Spurs. But that dude is a video game. It's not even fair. The man was doing crossover step back threes. He's doing windmill reverse jams in a game at 7'5". He made Anthony Davis, who is, I think, 6'11", 6'10" himself. Very large human being, very athletic human being, great player. He made him look like he was playing with his kid in the driveway. Victor Wembanyama is going to be a problem. And then when they put the right team around him, I hate to say this, but the Spurs could actually find themselves being another dynasty. Even though, they have a new coaching staff, but that pedigree has been built in that organization. And while you guys know I can't stand the Spurs, like I'm going to give them their respect that they deserve as an organization. The Rockets have a window that they might have a chance to go on a couple of runs and hopefully bring another championship to Houston. But once Victor Wembanyama is that dude, it's going to be tough, man. If he stays healthy. And obviously that is a concern because of his build. He may not be able to stay healthy, but if he can, that's going to be a problem for sure. But yeah, the Houston Rockets, I'm really looking forward to this game tonight. I will be doing some Rockets watch parties from home. Maybe we'll do some out on the road as well. It's going to be a really exciting Houston Rockets season. I know they lost the first game, but I still say the state of the Houston Rockets is strong. Now, let us move on to the state of the Houston Texans. You guys may notice my transition image when I go to the Houston Texans is still of CJ Stroud's rookie season and Tank Dell's rookie season. And that's because I look back longingly on those days after the last 2 seasons of the Houston Texans offense being abysmal. Abysmal. It is so bad. It's one of the worst Houston Texans offenses I've ever seen. And I've been watching this team since 17-10 opening night versus the Dallas Cowboys. I posted on social media. You'll see it on the thumbnail of this video. I made a tombstone for the Houston Texans 2025 season. Why did I do that? Well, it's a 2-part reason. Number one, the Houston Texans season is probably over. And I say probably because there still is that sliver of hope. But they have a lot of really good teams ahead of them. You're not going to win the division. And the odds are you're not making the playoffs as a wild card. Now, mathematically, they are not eliminated. And they could go on one hell of a run. When I said in my last press briefing is that the Houston Texans need to go 4-2 in the next 6 games, that's still on the table. They could go 4-1 in their next 5 games. But based on what you've seen from this team, when they're not playing the worst defense in the league? Is there anything that gives you hope that they're going to go 4-1 in the next 5 games? Other than just hope itself, being optimistic, just wanting to believe that it's possible. There's nothing you can point at that this team is doing right now, other than the defense, that leads you to believe that, yeah, man, they could go on a run. Nick Caley is worse than Bobby Slowick. I'm comfortable saying that right now. And DeMeco Ryans has a problem on his hand because he's in year 3 of a 6-year contract. It does not appear he has the offensive line fixed. I know it's better, but it ain't fixed. And he is now regressing as far as offensively. I know he passed over play calling duties to Matt Burke. I appreciate him for doing that. I've already talked about that. But what is he going to do about Nick Caley in this offense? If that's not his specialty side of the ball, can he bring in somebody, change play calling duties to someone else? Can he bring in somebody to at least mentor Nick Caley? Give him some suggestions. Is there anybody out there looking for a job who can come in and help this team's offense? Because it is abysmal and it's difficult to watch, and you're wasting a Super Bowl caliber defense. And that's the part that hurts the most. When I brought my brother on to the Texans bloodline, he was filling in for Scara the other day. He said, I have a feeling of deja vu with this team. Once again, getting embarrassed on national TV. Once again, not being able to play complimentary football. He referenced the 2010 Texans, who had a great offense but couldn't stop anybody. And I'm glad that he brought that up because I'm going to sound really repetitive, but I've told you guys before, what changed that Texans team was getting an experienced defensive play caller who knew what the hell he was doing, who had been through the battles, who knew how to make adjustments mid-game, and who knew how to inspire his players to believe in what he was trying to sell them. That's what Gary Kubiak had in Wade Phillips. I guarantee you right now, when Nick Caley is in his offensive meetings, what player in that locker room believes in what he's selling? I know it's not CJ Stroud. You can tell from CJ Stroud's body language. You can tell from his comments to the media afterward. He keeps referencing death by 1,000 cuts, dink and dunk, talking about how there's really no movement down the field. Clearly, that's what he wants to do. And if I were a member of the media, I would want to just straight up ask CJ Stroud, CJ, do you believe that this offense is designed to highlight what you are best at? Because at the end of the day, that really is a coach's job. You can't try to fit a square peg into a round hole. You have to be able to be flexible and understand, okay, this is what my quarterback does well. This is what my offensive line does well. Let's capitalize on those two things together. This is what my receivers do well. To try to say, hey, this is the system I've been running since I started coaching. This is what we did in New England. This is what we did in Los Angeles, and it worked there. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work here. And if the problem is you don't have the right players, that even if you try to highlight their strengths, it's still not good enough to win games, well, now we got to take a look at Nick Caley. At Nick Caserio. Nick Caserio has drafted some very good individual players. I would say he hit on Jalen Petrie. I would say he hit on Lassiter. Derek Stingley's struggled a little bit this season, but he's still, when he's at his best, one of the best in the NFL. Will Anderson Jr., obviously. Daniil Hunter, a good free agent pickup. Now he's had some misses too. Kenyon Green. Just name the name on the offensive line. Juice Scruggs, Kenyon Green, Jarrett Patterson, bringing in Jake Andrews. All of those right now are misses. They really are. He doesn't know how to build an offensive line, and it's clear. Like, clearly he does not have a good eye for talent on the offensive line. It appears he doesn't have a good eye for talent on coaching the offensive line. And that's going to be a problem because DeMeco Ryans has got to figure out, if I don't do something, I'm going to get fired because these other people aren't doing what they're supposed to do. And in that point, you may not ever get a chance to be a head coach again. Maybe you go on being a defensive coordinator for the rest of your career, which for some guys, that's fine. But I really, truly do believe that DeMeco Ryans is built to be a head coach. But he has got to learn that you have to put the right people around you as well. And the way I see it, the question mark of is Nick Caserio, DeMeco Ryans, and CJ Stroud, is that the right combination of GM, head coach, quarterback that's going to lead this Texans team to places they have not been before? Is that going to get them a Super Bowl win? Right now, the question is up in the air. And I'm not on the fire DeMeco Ryans train right now. Okay, he won back-to-back 10-game seasons. The first time he did it with a last-place schedule. The second time he did it with a first-place schedule. He's got another first-place schedule. And every team that they've lost to has been a really quality team. And that's the part that hurts because they've been in every game because of the defense. And my brother brought it up on Bloodline. If you have a mediocre offense, you're more than likely a winning team right now. But the offense is so bad, and you are wasting a, once again, Super Bowl caliber defense. There's no guarantee that Azeez Al-Shaair will be as good as he has been this season. Next season, he's a year older. Danielle Hunter, a year older. Yeah, you've got a lot of young pieces too, but you've got some vets. And this defense is doing the best that they can, but this offense is just so terrible. So I hate to say this, but right now the state of the Houston Texans is very, very bad. However, I'm going to tell you the real reason I made that tombstone trying to bury them, because I am that fool who stays optimistic. Now, I've never seen this type of miracle happen in football, especially not in Houston. But I have witnessed a miracle in Houston in 2005 when the Houston Chronicle tried to bury the Houston Astros. They were 15-31 at the time. The fans had even given up. And why not? 15-31 is a terrible place to be in. They were not scoring. They were wasting good pitching outings by Oswalt, by Clemens, by Pettit. And it looked like a really dire situation. And so when the Houston Chronicle put their tombstone on the front page, nobody blinked an eye. But what happened from that moment on is they went on a historic run. They got into the playoffs. They beat a team they'd never won before. Before 2004, the Astros had never even won a playoff series. And so the optimism going into 2005 was super high. And then they have that terrible start. What do? They go on a historic run. They end up making it to the World Series, where, yes, we know they lost. Can the Houston Texans channel that energy? Will my Houston Texans tombstone be the thing that projects them forward, hurls them forward, into making their way to places that they've never been before? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not optimistic about that, but I do have a little bit of hope. I have to have some hope. I love this team. I'm going to watch them no matter what. And if I know I'm going to watch them no matter what, like, I don't want to watch them knowing that they're going to lose every game. So I'm going to keep that hope alive. Hopefully they see my tombstone and it motivates them. They say Nicholas Stevenson has buried our season already. Well, we'll show that guy. He calls himself the president of Houston sports. We will show that guy. I hope that's the case. If you're watching this, tag them in it. Send it to them. Hope that all of the correct karma, superstition, whatever you want to call it, will motivate them to please salvage this season, because I'm going to say this again. Like, if they lose one more game in the next 3, it's going to be time to start talking about the draft. And it's not even Halloween yet. It's almost Halloween, but not quite yet. The state of the Houston Texans is rough, man. So Houston is divided. We have hope with the Houston Rockets. We have despair with the Houston Texans. Which are you holding on to? If you're a fan of both teams, are you still going to support the Texans? Is your loyalties going to shift more to the Rockets? Let's say the Rockets are playing on a Sunday, which they honestly don't play very many Sundays. But in this scenario, if you got the Rockets and the Texans playing at the exact same time, maybe it's a primetime game, Thursday night, Monday night, whatever. If both teams are on, who are you watching? Are you going to watch the Rockets, or are you going to desperately hope that the Houston Texans continue to improve in the places that I can't even say continue to improve. Why am I saying that? They haven't improved. They beat two really terrible teams. My goodness. Oh, even when I try to find a silver lining, it's just not there. You know what? If they win against San Francisco on Sunday, we're going to be feeling a lot better. Not saying that they're back, but we'll be feeling a lot better, and we'll have optimism that they can hopefully go into the next game versus the Broncos and surprise us again. As long as I have blood in my veins, I'm going to support this team, and that is why I will be at the Houston Texans watch party live from timeout number 3 in Deer Park. I will share all of that information in the description of this video as soon as this live is done. Go on social media, click on my link tree, follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Facebook, and I'm Pod Host Nick on TikTok. And please, if you're able to make it, if you're in the LaPorte, Pasadena, Deer Park area, please come out to timeout number 3 on Sunday. Hopefully the Texans win, but even if they don't, we're going to have a lot of great things going on. We're doing some prizes. We're doing some giveaways. We're going to have some fun games we're playing in between the action. And if the Houston Texans, who actually are favored by 1.5 right now to beat the San Francisco 49ers, so you're saying there's a chance, if they happen to win, then that's going to make the party even more exciting. But we're going to be out there having a good time regardless. So I hope you guys can make it. We'll be live streaming from there. So if you're not able to make it in person, come back to the YouTube channel. It'll also be streaming on Facebook, and it'll be streaming on TikTok as well. So I thank you guys so much if you join me for this Houston Sports State of the Union address. In the meantime, I'm going to see you guys. Let's see. What is today? It's Friday. I'm going to see you guys on Monday. If you don't come out to the watch party, we'll be doing Texans Bloodline on Monday, and we'll be doing the Houston Sports State of the Union press briefing as well on Tuesday. I will see you guys then, but in the meantime, you know what I want you to do. I want you to stay 10 toes down for the H. I love you, and good night.
This has been the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast, hosted by Nick Stevenson. Tune in next week for more news and analysis of your favorite Houston teams. Please follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, the app, formerly known as Twitter, if that's even really still a thing. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.